Beloved Saints, today's 5-minute message of redemptive history is about the land of the Philistines from the third book of redemptive history series, The Unquenchable Lamp of the Covenant. After David had parted with Saul at the hill of Hachilah, the 14th place of refuge, he thought that fleeing to Philistia was his best choice, so he returned to King Achish of Gath for the second time. Gath was the 15th place of refuge. There were 600 warriors with David at this time, and each man had his own household, so it is estimated that the total number of people who journeyed with David was over 2,000. When King Saul heard that David had fled to Gath in the land of the Philistines, he no longer searched for him, and this is recorded in 1 Samuel 27 verse 4. When David went to King Achish of Gath, he allowed David to stay in Ziklag, the 16th place of refuge. So David remained there in Philistia for a year and 4 months. However, the problem was that it was wrong of David to enter the land of the Philistines without first inquiring of God. He made this decision based on his own thoughts. He decided that he was to leave the land of Israel, the land of the covenant, and take refuge in the land of the Philistines. Coincidentally, a war broke out between the Philistines and the Israelites, and David had to take part in the war on the side of the Philistines. However, the Philistine commanders were against David's participation in the war and said, "In the battle, he may become an adversary to us." This was God's providential work. And by God's work, David was able to avoid the tragedy of warring against his own people. Yet another trying and desperate situation awaited him. He left the Philistine camp of Aphek and returned to Ziklag on the 3rd day, only to find Ziklag ablaze by the Amalekites and the Israelites' wives and children taken away. David and all the people were so distressed and grieved that they lifted their voices and wept until there was no strength in them to weep. It was truly a moment of despair and bitterness. Thinking that all their families had been killed, David's warriors were momentarily so enraged that they wished to stone David. In 1 Samuel 30 verse 6 it says, "David was greatly distressed because the men were talking of stoning him. Each one was bitter in spirit because of his sons and daughters. But David found strength in the Lord his God." Here, the word distressed is yazar in Hebrew, and it means to bind, to tie up, to be restricted, and to be cramped. Thus, David found himself in a difficult and grievous position. But he immediately realized his wrongdoing and gathered himself together by relying on God. David finally realized his fault of not inquiring of God or praying to him, and coming to this land of the Philistines, a Gentile land. David repented, and he strengthened himself in the Lord, and he sincerely prayed to God. In 1 Samuel 30 verse 8 it says, "And David inquired of the Lord, 'Shall I pursue this raiding party? Will I overtake them?' 'Pursue them,' God answered. 'You will surely overtake them and succeed in the rescue.'" After receiving this answer from God, David took his 600 men with him to pursue the Amalekites. However, some of the men lagged behind due to exhaustion. David left behind 200 men at the Brook Bezor, and he continued to pursue Amalek with 400 men. David slaughtered the Amalekites and was able to recover all that they had taken. He rescued his 2 wives, Abigail and Abinoam, and took many sheep and cattle as spoil. Beloved saints, David did not inquire of the Lord and moved into the land of the Philistines. He then found himself in a serious trouble for his wrong decision. Later on, he repented and found strength in the Lord and gained victory. Like David, even if we find ourselves in serious trouble because we made a wrong decision, let us realize our faults, repent, and turn back to God. Let us rely on Him and pray to Him. Then God will surely restore us by giving us new strength and courage. Then we will be victorious in our spiritual battles. I bless in the name of the Lord.